Terval FX was a legend among xeno-veterinarians. Across the sector, his name was synonymous with mastery. His clinic aboard the starship Gentle Void wasn't just a facility. It was a beacon of hope for exotic creatures from the farthest reaches of the galaxy. Beasts with translucent skin, creatures with acidic saliva, and even sentient plants found sanctuary under his care. Terval prided himself on his unmatched ability to handle the bizarre and the deadly. Venomous Zorro, fiery Vipin, and the ferocious Vivix of Meltran Prime were merely milestones in his illustrious career. So, when an Earth delegation arrived with what they described as a domestic feline, Terval's 4 eyes blinked in unison. To anyone familiar with his mannerisms, it was the equivalent of a dismissive shrug. A widely domesticated creature? This must be dull, he mused, setting his sleek, multi-limbed instruments on the examination table. Humans and their peculiar attachments to animals. Arthur, the human handler, shifted uncomfortably. A tall, rugged man with a streak of gray in his hair, Arthur had the air of someone who had seen his fair share of interstellar chaos. Yet even he seemed uneasy. Yeah, just be careful with her. Cats can be unpredictable. Terval let out a deep, rumbling chuckle that reverberated through the sterile walls of the clinic. Arthur, I assure you, he said, his voice smooth yet authoritative, I have treated creatures capable of incinerating half the ship with a sneeze. A terrestrial quadruped poses no challenge. Arthur glanced at the carrier on the table. Inside sat Luna, a sleek black cat whose emerald eyes glimmered like polished gems. She was purring softly, her tail curling lazily around her body. If you say so, Arthur muttered under his breath, stepping back as though bracing for impact. The examination room, bathed in soft blue light, was equipped with cutting-edge technology, a zero-gravity stabilizer to keep even the most skittish patients still, a neural pacifier for painless restraint, and molecular scanners capable of mapping every cell of a creature's body. No species had ever overwhelmed these tools. Confident in his preparation, Terval activated the stabilizer. A glowing blue field materialized around the feline, designed to hold her gently yet firmly in place. Luna's purring ceased. Her emerald eyes locked onto Terval, narrowing into razor-thin slits. The atmosphere in the room shifted. A tension Arthur felt like static electricity on his skin. Ah, Terval said, intrigued. An intelligent gaze. I see why humans are fond of these creatures. Arthur took a cautious step back. I'm telling you, be careful. Before Terval could reply, Luna twisted her body in an impossible motion that seemed to defy the laws of physics. Like a shadow given life, she slipped out of the stabilizer field and leapt through the air. Claws extended, she latched onto Terval's elongated head, her small but sharp talons digging into the soft tissue of his primary ocular ridge. Terval flailed, his multiple limbs attempting to dislodge the determined feline. Fascinating, he exclaimed, his tone a mix of astonishment and alarm. She exhibits a surprising degree of dexterity and aggression for a creature her size. Arthur's lips twitched into a grim smile. Told you. You might want to. Do not concern yourself. Terval interrupted, his voice strained as he waved Arthur off. This is within parameters. Luna hissed, her fur bristling as she clung to Terval's head like a determined conqueror. Arthur winced. Depends. Did you? Make her mad. Mad. Terval repeated, incredulous. How could I possibly have made her mad? I've barely touched her. Arthur shrugged. Cats don't really need a reason. With a final twist, Luna launched herself from Terval's head onto the examination table. She landed gracefully, her fur standing on end like a crackling force field, her tail whipping with military precision. She appears to be exhibiting dominance behavior, Terval muttered, brushing himself off with his secondary limbs. Arthur's warning came too late. Luna leapt again, this time aiming for Terval's manipulator limb. Her claws sank into the soft, pliable tissue, climbing toward his face with the determination of a predator. Arthur, Your assistance is required. Turville yelped, his deep, resonant voice now laced with panic. Arthur sighed, stepping forward. With practiced ease, he grabbed Luna by the scruff of her neck. Instantly, the cat went limp, her body dangling like a sack of feathers. Turville stared, his primary and secondary eyes wide with astonishment. Why does that work? Arthur chuckled. It's a mom thing. Mother cats do it to move their kittens. Sort of short-circuits their fight reflex. Turville tilted his head, his curiosity overriding his embarrassment. You mean to say she possesses an off switch? Sort of, Arthur replied, depositing Luna back into her carrier. But don't count on it lasting long. True to the warning, Luna began wriggling again, her claws flexing as if preparing for another assault. Turville hastily secured the latch and stepped back. Remarkable, he murmured, inspecting the scratches on his manipulator limb. This creature's size belies its ferocity. Its physiology defies logic, and its attitude is incomprehensible. Arthur smirked, crossing his arms. Welcome to Earth animals. Back in his lab, Turville meticulously reviewed the data collected during the chaotic encounter. Luna's vital readings fluctuated wildly, her physiology presenting anomalies that defied established science. Her heart rate spiked and plummeted seemingly at random, and faint energy signatures emanated from her fur, a phenomenon he had never observed in any terrestrial species. This creature, he muttered, his voice tinged with both frustration and admiration, is a paradox. She operates on chaos rather than logic. Determined to understand, Turville devised a new strategy. He cleared his lab of unnecessary equipment, creating a serene environment tailored to the feline's comfort. Cushions were arranged in inviting piles. Toys were scattered strategically, and a small dish of fresh tuna was placed near a sunny patch of floor. Luna observed these changes with her usual aloofness, her emerald eyes glowing with what Turville could only describe as approval. This is no ordinary creature, he admitted, watching her with a mix of trepidation and fascination. This is a battle of wills. Arthur's voice echoed in his mind. Let her think she's in charge, and you might get somewhere. Turville knelt a respectful distance away, holding out a toy mouse that emitted soft, chirping sounds. Luna tilted her head, her pupils dilating as she crouched low. In a flash, she pounced, snatching the toy and rolling onto her side. Turville watched, captivated. Remarkable, he whispered, a predator's instinct in a domesticated frame. By the end of the session, Luna sprawled on the floor, her tail flicking lazily. Turville's secondary eyes recorded every detail. For the first time, he felt as though he was beginning to understand her, not as a subject to study, but as an equal in a delicate dance of trust and respect.